March 26, 1997, Rancho Santa Fe, California. A music teacher, a comet, and a door to the other side. For 25 years, 39 people believed a UFO was hiding behind the Hale-Bopp comet, waiting to take them home, their ticket to the aliens. They had a date, they had a plan, they had Nike sneakers, purple tracksuits, and rolls of quarters for the journey. What drove them to this moment? This is Heaven's Gate. Will you believe? Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Mostly True Alien Stories.
They're coming.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects.
In Mexico, pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
Welcome back to Mostly True Alien Stories. I'm Neil Girandola, and this is the only podcast where we take a true report of an alien encounter from history, share what we know, then decide whether it's a mostly true alien story or not. Today's episode is different from anything we've covered. I know I say that every episode, but every true report we brought you asks the same question. Was something out there? And today's report asks a different question, a harder one. What happens to a person, to a group of people, when the answer they find to that question is given to them by someone who is kind of really wrong to be leading them down that path? All right, this is not a story about aliens, kind of is, but it's a story about the human need to believe in something larger than ourselves and what can happen when the need meets the wrong person at the wrong moment. 39 people did die in this story we're about to tell, and we're going to give them the seriousness they deserve. We're also going to lean into that alien side of this report. This is Heaven's Gate, the UFO cult that ended at a comet. And before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button on whatever channel you're listening through and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mostly True Alien Stories. And let's say hello to the two people who help drive the ship. It's Andrew Triana and Lemon G. Hi, guys.
Good
Hey.
morning, everyone.
Andrew looks like a big poop right now. But
Andrew, look at you. You're ready for this.
I'm ready.
Did you join this cult? Is that what
I'm
you're...
back from the cult to tell you.
oh,
None of it.
Oh,
None of
no.
what you've heard is a lie.
oh,
Oh,
that's not what I thought
You've
he'd
been
say.
through Heaven's Gate. Okay.
I went to Heaven's Gate. I was there.
Uh-huh.
I'm back now.
Uh-huh.
And I was very excited to be there.
Is
There
that the outfit? They got to wear a
This is
baseball
the-
hat with a
yes,
hoodie?
With a hoodie.
Uh-huh.
And every place here
Uh-huh.
is Taco Bell. Every restaurant
Oh,
is Taco Bell.
No wonder they were
No.
so into this.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yes.
Oh,
Is
It's
that
the
why you
whole-
look like a big poop?
That's
Or-
why, because when you eat Taco Bell,
Mhm,
Uh-huh.
the
you have
juice
to be
come out.
prepared. Right. Right. You want to have the brown on the outside as well, too. It's a masking agent.
Okay, well, welcome back from Heaven's
Thank you.
Gate.
Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be here.
You're one of the two people that are still running the website for Heaven's Gate.
Oh,
But all right, let's get into the story. Marshall Herf Applewhite was born in 1931 in Texas. He's the son of a Presbyterian minister, and he was, by every account, exceptionally talented. He earned a degree in philosophy, a master's in music, and became a college music professor. He was a gifted singer and stage performer, and he was married with children. And in 1970, he resigned from the University of St. Thomas in Houston after administrators discovered he had a sexual relationship with a male student. He was already wrestling with his sexuality in a religious framework that gave him no room to reconcile it. He began to unravel, so to speak, according to the report. His father died the following year, and he had what was described as a nervous breakdown. He was hearing voices, he had visions, he checked himself into a psychiatric facility. And in 1972, in that psychiatric facility, he met Bonnie Lou Nettles, a nurse and mother of four who was deeply invested in astrology, of all things, New Age spirituality, and the idea that she received messages from spirit guides. She told Applewhite that she had known they would meet and that extraterrestrials had preordained their encounter. So
I
it
have a
was love,
question.
first sight.
Was
Yes.
he a patient and she was not?
So I believe he was a patient at this psychiatric facility.
Was
and then
she?
she met him. No, she was a nurse.
She was a
at this
nurse.
facility. Yes.
Not good. Not great.
Right.
Bad.
Right. She had power over him immediately.
Let's
Yes.
talk crazy.
Well, that's exactly right. You
So
know,
tell me more. I'm not unstable at all, but please tell me more.
yeah,
Talk
I
to
wonder if
people.
like her boss was like, you can't do that with the patients. You can't have this conversation.
What do
They
you mean?
must have. Yeah, that's when
What?
they left and they made the call.
What do you mean? I can't
At
have
the,
these conversations.
at the
I'm
end
just
of
trying
it,
to help him.
are you going to be this guy the whole time? Are you going to be this character the whole time?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
not.
I just want to make
Just
sure.
wanna
I don't
make
know who
sure.
I'm talking
No,
to.
no, I want to make sure.
Anyway, Applewhite believed her. So he believed everything she was talking about the
Wow.
astrology side and that they were preordained to meet, and the extraterrestrials had told her this. So here he is, Applewhite and Nettles. Then they build a belief system together that fused his Presbyterian biblical framework with her extraterrestrial cosmology. And the result was something genuinely original and genuinely dangerous, as we soon find out. Their theology, the God of the Bible was not a supernatural being. He was an extraterrestrial. Jesus was not the Son of God. He was an alien who came to Earth in a human body, demonstrated how to transcend the physical, and was killed, rose from the dead, and was transported onto a spacecraft. And the New Testament's heaven was a literal physical realm in outer space inhabited by highly evolved beings, and they called it the next level.
Okay.
Applewhite and Nettles declared themselves the two witnesses from the book of Revelation, divine messengers sent to prepare a
Wow.
select group of humans to graduate to the next level. And
So-
they called each other Doe and T, musical notes.
They thought that they were the prophets, the two prophets that come out and prophesize in the book of Revelations, basically.
Yes.
They're supposed to be those two people to come and talk, tell everybody what's happening.
Yes.
And then they're
Either-
murdered. And then they're murdered. And in Revelations, they are killed
Oh, okay.
and then resurrected. So
Right.
just to give a
Oh.
little context there. But
That-
here, I'm still struggling with this whole, she considered herself a cosmologist, right? I mean,
Yeah.
technically, okay. All right.
Yes,
I just
she
want to.
did.
I just want to make sure I have that part.
Right, she did. She considered herself that, but and then they also declared themselves these two prophets. You know what I mean?
Right.
So either they believed it or they convinced each other that they
No,
were.
they believed it. They must have believed it because
Yeah.
they got other people to believe. But wouldn't it have been better if she had focused on cosmetology?
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I think-
Cosmetology and Jesus,
Go
get
making
Jimmy
hair
Buffett.
for Jesus,
I think-
beautiful styles.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something. They would have had a completely different outcome at the end of all
Yeah,
They
just think
would've,
about
yeah.
the people they could have made beautiful,
Yeah.
people that had
Yeah.
didn't feel good about themselves.
that. Right.
They could
They
have made
would've-
them beautiful.
They would have had 39 people looking their best.
Oh
They
my
were-
gosh. Can you imagine? They would have been like, look at this hair. Oh my God. Look what he
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fabulous.
That's
I'm
so
going to pray
great.
over your hair.
Yeah.
If we think about the foundation of what they're saying, it's not that far fetched, though. Like, it's
Not at
something
all.
we
No,
do
it makes
talk
sense.
about.
Yes, very good point. It's not far fetched. You know
Yeah.
what makes this, and I'm jumping ahead here. What makes this so hard to believe is because 39 people took their lives.
Right.
That's where this goes away. If you erase that for a moment,
Yeah.
not to forget it, but move it out of this equation. Okay, this is a story. Let's see how they got there. Let's see
It could
why
be.
they believe this.
It
So
could be.
let me back up because they called each other, Nettles and Applewhite called themselves Joe and T, which were the musical notes. Andrew, how does it go? You want to sing it?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la,
Uh-huh.
ti, do.
All right.
Why didn't they just go with do and me? Why do and ti? And it really wouldn't be do ti. It would actually be ti do.
You
Just saying.
actually, I know you're joking, but there actually might be a reason for that.
Okay.
Maybe they're
Okay.
going with Doty, Richard Doty.
Ooh.
This is
maybe.
all going right over my head.
Boom.
Personally, I
Uh-huh.
can't keep
So
up.
Doty, you'll like this, Lemon. So
Okay.
Doty was a guy who actually created a lot of scenarios where he messed with people. He worked with the CIA, and he would basically play mind games with people to test to see how they could hide alien technology, how they could create disinformation in the alien conversation. So
Mm.
he would create these encounter stories or feed fake information to certain individuals to mess with them to see and basically observe to see
How it
how
affected
that
them,
story folds out.
Yeah.
fucked up.
And then we're supposed to believe him when he comes out later going, some of the stuff I said is true.
Yes. So then,
Oh,
he does.
shut up, Dodie.
So yeah, he's so,
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's
no,
the guy.
I want to beat that guy with a rubber hose.
Yeah, he sucks.
Andrew doesn't like him.
I don't like him. I don't,
Mhm.
because he hurt
He
a
hurt some
lot of
people.
A lot of people.
Some people got
Yeah,
messed up with it.
fuck
Some
yeah.
people took their own lives because of it.
Yeah, because of
that's-
him. Because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
yeah, he's a bad man.
Yeah. All right. So here we are. So their followers in this group that they started were students. So they're teaching them along the way. The human body, they observed as just a container, is just a vehicle. So they, that's how they looked at the human body, and the soul inside it could evolve and ascend. So this is their teachings. This is what they're practicing with their students. And to ascend, you had to detach completely from everything human: family, money, sexuality, identity. You received a new name. You wore gender-neutral clothing, and you severed contact with everyone you had known before. So that is very cult-like. I mean, that's classic cult.
Andrew, what was your name?
In the cult?
Yeah.
Before I ascended,
Mhm.
Yes.
it was a blowfish.
Oh, was there inspiration for that?
No,
He has that tattooed on his butt.
right
so-
above mine says blowfish.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So in the mid-1970s, Applewhite and Nettles then took their message on the road. At a meeting in Oregon in 1975, approximately 20 people vanished from a small town overnight. They had joined the group and simply left their lives behind just like that.
Wow.
And it made national news. The FBI even investigated, and nobody they found had been coerced. They just joined this group, and they just chose to be a part of it and go. Through the 70s and 80s, the group lived nomadically, moving through California and the Southwest, numbering in the dozens. And they were known in UFO research circles very well. Everybody knew them. So scholar Jacques Vallée, who we've talked about before, he wrote about them in 1979. So that's a big deal. And they were studied by sociologist Robert Bach, and they were considered not fringe of the fringe. They were documented. So this is a documented group building momentum, getting followers, and they were all in that alien mindset. And this is what was going on. Then in 1985, Bonnie Nettles, she dies of cancer. Now, this should have ended everything. This is where this whole thing should have fell apart, because that's not how this was supposed to go, because their bodies were just vessels, right? So if she dies, then their message isn't really correct. So she and Applewhite had both believed they would ascend physically and alive aboard a spacecraft. That's how their thinking was.
Oh, interesting. So they think the whole body is going to go up
Yes.
into the
Yeah,
space.
everything goes.
Right.
Everything goes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so her death was basically a direct contradiction of their prophecy.
Oh, geez.
So now what do, right? Applewhite didn't acknowledge the contradiction. Instead, he reframes it. Nettles had not failed to ascend. Instead, he said she had demonstrated the correct path. Physical death was not the end. It was the mechanism. The soul transferred to a next level body, and she was already on the spacecraft waiting for them.
Well, and we believe this in general. Like in religion, we believe
Yes.
this, that the soul exits the body and it goes to heaven,
Right.
goes to another
Right.
place. And
Right.
So,
But the only problem with the whole little hole and punch a hole in the story is that according to the book of Revelations, the prophets are murdered. They're
Mm.
protected for a certain amount of days, and then they're murdered for what they're
Mhm.
saying. Their bodies are left for 3 days, and go 3 days, and then they're resurrected.
oh,
Full
wow.
body.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they didn't read the whole story. They just
Or
took
they
parts
chose what they wanted to believe.
to believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which is it? Okay. So anyway, so Applewhite was, his thought was he's going to follow her, and he's going to get everybody else to follow as well. That reframe was the pivot point, because the group had just been told that death was not a failure. It's the graduation ceremony, so to speak. So
Mhm.
in the early
Oh.
1990s, Applewhite discovered the internet. And so the group, operating under the business name called Higher Source, began designing websites to fund their operations. So they're going strong here. Their clients included a San Diego Polo Club and a mail order music catalog. So they were functional, they're professional, and it just was all invisibly strange, right? So in
Love it.
1995, astronomers now, and here comes the second part of this story. In 1995, astronomers discovered the comet Hale-Bopp, and that's a massive, spectacular comet predicted to be one of the most visible in decades, reaching closest approach to Earth in March of 1997. So now a bell goes off. So in late 1996, after this, an amateur astronomer named Chuck Schremek photographs what he claimed was a Saturn-like object traveling behind Hale-Bopp, and he posted it online. And then Art Bell amplified it on Coast to Coast AM. Now, Art Bell, for those of you who don't know, was a sensationalist DJ. He dove into all these types of stories. He clinged on to alien stories and sensationalized
H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, the whole radio thing, that whole idea of alien takeover.
That's right. And I even think that he made up a lot of stuff. So just to really just drive eyeballs. Yes, totally. Yeah. Yeah. So of course he jumps on this. He sensationalized the photograph of what, they're claiming is a Saturn-like object traveling behind Hale-Bopp. And the UFO community runs with this, and that here's this spacecraft that's trailing behind the comet. And you can only imagine if that happened today, how much people would get behind it, because that's what they did with 3i Atlas. It would be exactly.
So,
astronomers then, of course, the science community dismisses it immediately. The object was proven to be a star, SAO 141894, for those of you who care, that appeared behind the comet due to the angle of Schremek's photograph. So it's not a spacecraft, it's a star.
Not moving with it, right? It's a star.
Yeah. So Applewhite, he hears the rumor and he recognizes that this could be a sign that the spacecraft was coming. Now, the comet was the cover, and the next level had sent their ship, and Hale-Bopp was its marker. So this is what's going on now. So in October of 1996, he rents a 9-bedroom mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, which is an affluent suburb of San Diego. And he tells the owner, hey, we're just a group consisted of Christian-based angels. That's what we are. We're gonna stay here. And 39 people move in. It's really, if you really want to dissect this a little more too, the dude that takes the picture of this and the star, says there's a ship behind it. I wonder what his thoughts were after this all goes down. You know what I mean? Because that's really the antithesis to drive them to this decision.
He had to have an oh shit moment.
Oh, for sure. But
you can think about 3i Atlas too, and what's potentially happening right now with groups of people all throughout the world.
Yeah, they're thinking that there's many people that think that's a UFO still. But does that make them decide to take these drastic measures to get to it? I mean, that's where this gets. We'll get into that, but that's anyway. Okay, so here we are. 39 people move into this affluent neighborhood, into this mansion, and now in March of 1997, as Hale-Bopp reached its closest point to Earth, the group began what they called the exit. And they recorded farewell videos that still exist. They were calm in these videos. They were joyful. And each person was explaining that they were not dying. They were graduating to the next level. And they're going to be leaving their containers behind. And the spacecraft was waiting for them specifically.
It gives me chills hearing that.
Yeah.
That they were joyful in those videos.
Yeah.
To think about, and again, it makes sense. You really think that you are going to be ascending, you are going to meet your higher power. It is a beautiful feeling, but I think, we all kind of have this mindset of that day will come eventually, and we will wait until that day comes. To think that, they were actively going to reach that point is very powerful.
Well, from the outside, we say they're crazy, right? They were hypnotized, they were brainwashed, they're crazy. But on the inside, I mean, you have to think what they were thinking. They truly believe that this is an alien event that they're going to be a part of, and it's going to be special.
Right.
Which is we'll get into it, the group of people as well. So, all right. So over March 22nd and 23rd, the 39 members of Heaven's Gate consumed a mixture of phenobarbital stirred into pudding, and they wash it down with vodka. And some put plastic bags over their heads afterward to ensure the process was completed. And each wave of deaths was arranged by those still living, who then took their own dose and then lay down beside them. So they were committed. I mean, you see these people doing what they're doing, and then the people still left, they're going to continue on. So they did. And they were dressed in identical black tracksuits, and they wore white Nike sneakers, an armband reading Heaven's Gate Away Team on their arms. They each had a $5 bill and rolls of quarters in every pocket. Traveling money, they said, for the next part of the journey. They had purple shrouds were placed over each body. And then Marshall Applewhite was also among the dead. So he was committed through to the end as well. He had gone with them. To the end, he believed what he was saying. So on March 26th, a surviving member who had left the group, Rio D'Angelo, born Richard Ford, made an anonymous call to the police. He had been instructed to stay behind and tell the world what happened. Police entered the mansion at 135 Civitanavo Court, and what they found inside it wasn't any signs of trauma and no signs of struggle. It was just 39 people lying quietly under purple cloth, arranged carefully by the people who loved them, waiting for a ship that never came, or maybe it came for them. And that's the report. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to hand it over to Andrew. And Andrew, I know you're going to fill in some details here, and then the three of us will weigh in on whether we think it's mostly true or not. But every case we cover on this show sounds just as impossible. I've alluded to this earlier. You know, we have like the man in Manitoba with burn scars that match a sketch he had made before the doctor saw him. You have a pilot watching something accelerate beyond any known physics. You have aliens going through walls, people being taken up on ships, 13,000 people describing the same crap. And we take those seriously. And I'm going to ask this uncomfortable version of that question here. What if the beings they were trying to reach were real? But Applewhite's map to get to them was completely wrong. You have serious researchers like Jacques Vallée, John Keel. They spent careers arguing that this intelligence doesn't travel across space. It moves between dimensions. It's always been here, occupying a layer of reality we can't normally perceive. The abduction accounts we covered describe beings who pass through walls, communicate without speaking, exist outside normal time. So that's not a spacecraft from another planet. That's just something interdimensional. So Heaven's Gate, it called it, they called it the next level. They were catastrophically wrong about how to get there. But the destination, the idea that something exists beyond this level of reality, that it's been intersecting with ours throughout human history, that contact is possible. So that's not fringe, and that's in the serious literature. So yes, the feeling under Heaven's Gate may not be so crazy from their perspective.
If we are thinking about what the afterlife might be, I do think it's a theory, and we all wonder where the soul goes. We all, there are theories that we are just balls of energy that are, if you've ever heard about the star seed theory, that
Yep.
we just, our soul picks, to come down, but that's where we will return to. And so I don't think it is a crazy thought about, or a crazy interpretation of what the afterlife might be. Now, to your point, the pathway that this individual, told people to take
Completely
to get
wrong.
there is not correct, because eventually we will all pass, and
Yes.
so we will find out eventually.
I'm not
but
going to.
oh, I'm not dying either.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Andrew
I'm
already has, but
I'm
so-
807 years old.
Yes, that's right. All well said, Lemon. And I can't wait to hear what Andrew has to fill in on this whole side of things as well. So Andrew, at this point, I am going to pass it over to you.
Okay.
And then after you're done, the three of us will weigh in on whether we think this is a mostly true alien story, with some exceptions, right? So we'll get into that. All right, Andrew, what do you got?
It just reminded me of Jim Jones and the Guyana tragedy.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Jim Jones was a preacher and went to Guyana and murdered everybody in the congregation, drank Kool-Aid. They literally drank the Kool-Aid, and that's where that phrase, don't drink the Kool-Aid, or you're drinking the Kool-Aid, came from.
But they weren't in search of it. They didn't believe in aliens. That wasn't
no,
the thing that
they didn't
were
believe in
pursuing.
aliens, and they were forced A lot of them were forced to drink
right.
it.
That's right.
It wasn't like, hey, everybody, we're so happy. No, it was like, drinking. And so that's where this is different, right? So the
They all went along with
demographics,
it.
they all went along with it. So the demographics, they were mostly all adults in their 20s and 30s. They were predominantly white
Mhm.
with middle-class backgrounds. Many of these people had college education or technical skills. Several worked as computer IT people, designers. They had office jobs.
And he was gathering this group for 25 years.
Yes. Now, a few of them had prior involvement in New Age or religious movements.
Okay.
Okay. But this is not, you mentioned this, this is not a stereotypical fringe group because these people were functional. They were employed.
Yeah.
They were educated. They were part of society when they changed. So 39 people, and we talked about their names. So most of them adopted new names ending in OD, ODY.
Okay.
So it was like Strody. Hi, I'm Strody. Hi, I'm Brody. Hi, I'm Lodi.
What's the reason?
It was just a naming system. It was a way for them to shed their human identity.
So yours would have been Blowy.
Blowy. Bloaty. Bloaty.
Hey, here comes Bloaty.
Bloaty. Yes, a pizza last night. I
Hey,
feel
Bloaty.
really bloated. Hey, let's just call him Bloaty. He's always complaining that he feels bloated.
Wait, I want to
on.
go back to your comment about them having, being like working professionals and things like that. Did they know his background?
That he was in an insane asylum? No, I don't think so.
They didn't know this information.
I don't know.
I don't know why they
you
would ask.
Right. No.
I think if you join a group like this, what are you going to ask? You're not going to ask your background. I just love what we're talking about.
They're not double checking anything.
No,
like,
why would they? I don't think anybody that joins a cult does their research.
No, hold on. The people who, I feel that people who maybe join a group like that are just looking for belonging. They're looking for community. So it's not necessarily that they're not like we said, that they're not intelligent people. Like they're working business people. But they are looking for a purpose and a place. And
No, I've started organizations in my own town where people would join because for the same reason, not to basically help the
We
organization.
share the same thoughts.
Yeah, just to be around people for that camaraderie or whatever. And there's no questions asked. No questions asked.
Right.
All right. Okay, everyone ask your questions.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Exactly.
People don't ask questions nowadays.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have to ask. You've got to do the research.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I wonder. This is my point about cults like this. I'm not going to ask the question. If I'm taken by something and what your purpose is and what you're focused on, and I believe what you're saying,
right?
Why would I look any further?
Well,
I don't want that to go away. I don't want to be disappointed, right? So I want to be in this because you're saying it so well and eloquently, and I believe in it. I don't want anything else to wreck that. So I'm not going to look any further.
Right. But I mean, think about this. I mean, they founded this group in the 70s, right? And then when Nettles died in 85,
should have ended.
There was a major shift in the group's theology.
Definitely.
Major shift. And all those people were like, well, he must be right. Okay. Yeah.
Again, because they were so bought in, they didn't want to be disappointed. And so this is a great alternative, a great switch that makes complete sense to me because I want to stay involved and we want this to be real.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So here's the thing. It was a highly controlled communal environment.
Yeah.
Especially after Applegate took over. They were kind of free
by himself.
there.
You mean
by himself? Yeah. Right. So that I'm going to just go with his mental illness really kicked in after she died. I think her dying really affected him.
She was his sole foundation, wasn't she?
Right. She got him signed up and she got him believing. Right. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the person that tells you all the stuff that's supposed to happen dies.
Yeah,
do we have any idea what happened to his wife and his kids?
There's really nothing. I think they just kind of like disappeared. I think they didn't want anything
Lemon,
to
you
do
looking
with
that up?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So they had strict daily routines. They had uniform clothing. They had identical haircuts and grooming.
But that's a cult.
What was it?
It's like a bowl cut, like Neil's hair.
No.
So some males even underwent voluntary castration.
No.
Wonder why.
Rejection. They call it rejection of their human desires because they don't need that.
Boy, that changes your psychology too.
Of course it does.
That messes with you with the
Yes.
castration.
Yeah.
That messes with you.
Tell us about it, Neil. How was it?
I couldn't go through with it.
I thought you're the one that went through Blowy.
Bloaty's been castrated.
No. Bloody opted out. That's why Bloody's here.
It says that there was divorce and estrangement from Applewhite, and
Yeah. Well, he
They-
got
yeah,
locked up
that's-
after that. So, do you want to be hanging around with dad that just got into the mental hospital?
Yeah, he's losing his shit.
And he had just had a homosexual affair on you?
Mm,
I mean, there's a lot of bad blood there,
sure.
That's like, I don't know if is that the ultimate betrayal for a woman? It's bad enough if her husband has an affair with a woman, but he has an affair with a man? I mean, it's like,
no, I don't think.
where
that's
did that come
the
from?
ultimate
I don't see
betrayal.
that. I don't see that as the ultimate betrayal. I just call that gay. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a. It's
Well,
just it.
It's out there. It's out there. So they got excited. You had talked about them being early internet users, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they were. So they really tuned into like web design services to support themselves,
Mm.
Smart. That's a
We should do
smart. Yeah.
Right?
Smart.
right?
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that they did do video recordings of themselves before all this went down.
Yes, and those videos actually still live on their website.
So
Their website's still actively run by 2 members of the Heaven's Gate group.
So, from a psychological standpoint, if you analyze these people, they were not people who were rebels. So none of these people were like rebellious. They were seekers. They were all looking for something.
Followers.
Yeah. They were interested in spirituality,
Yeah.
metaphysics,
Sure.
the meaning beyond traditional religion.
Do you know how many people in the world are seeking that kind of,
Of course.
not to the death, but to that are lost and seek like-minded people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
bigger than ever right now.
Right. So, and he gonna say this.
I wonder, not to jump on you, but I wonder where his group would have been today had he started it last year or 2 years ago. Like how many people would have been on board of this? I think it would have been hundreds.
It would have been huge because they would have used social media.
Oh my gosh. Thinking about that just
Yeah.
turned my
So many
stomach.
lost people. So, and a lot of these people, remember, there were 39 of them, 21 women, 18 men.
Those are
okay?
the 39 that took their lives. There was more that closed it up and got
Right.
things. Yeah.
So all of these people
Ugh.
had periods in their life of either relationship loss or divorce.
Pretty much all of them.
All of them. Career dissatisfaction. I hate my
Mhm.
job.
Sure.
I got more purpose in this life, and Joe at work hates me.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that causes identity shifts in people.
Yeah.
And they're looking for defined purpose or a cosmic mission. These are the people that they targeted. And the rules were simple. You come in, hey, everybody, there's no sex in this house. And you guys that are interested in having sex, go castrate yourself so you're not, because that's not part of the plan. And if you can't follow the rules, you got to go.
I think my cult would be a little different. I think if I had a cult, I'm gonna
have
I'm gonna
all the
say to
guys castrated
I'm gonna
except for
say if
yourself.
you're castrated, you can't be a part of this group. It's got to be all, you all coming in, and you can do whatever you want with each other as long as everybody agrees. You gotta be nice.
All right,
Everybody
so
be gentle.
consent is important.
Consent. Yes, let's clarify that. We're gonna play board games. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about aliens and stuff for sure. But we're definitely not gonna go down that route.
This
that
sounds
we
like
went
mostly true aliens.
down. Yes, you guys are part of my cult.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where are our t-shirts?
Where's our t-shirts?
Where's my hat? I like
Mhm.
hats. Can I get a hat?
All right,
Yeah.
we should get hats. Yeah. I want
Okay,
a t-shirt.
So a lot of the people too that they looked
Uh-huh.
for were people who were going to be long-term commitment. They wanted long-term commitment
Sure.
with this and the people wanted it as well because they didn't have that in their lives.
And a good
Yeah.
cult leader can identify those kinds of people.
Of course. And be able to follow all the strict rules. Their behavior is not impulsive. All right. If they have impulsive behavior, they're not good for the group.
But it's very impulsive for them to do castration.
To become part of the group.
Yeah.
But once you're part of the group and you realize how there's these routines and how
You have to do
everybody's
their
happy
impulsive
and
rules.
everything,
Yeah.
but they're not joining out of impulse. They're joining
Sure.
out of their desire. They're wanting. They're seeking this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to
All
say.
right. So you're painting a certain type of people that are part of this group
Yeah.
that were very troubled. They had a lot of issues going on. They can't be impulsive
Yeah.
to join the group. but once they join, so he's identifying that kind of person that is going to follow him.
Right. And early on, right, in the 70s and 80s, they actually did public lectures. Him and Bonnie did public lectures. And they advertised discussions. They advertised the discussions to be about UFOs and the next level, the next evolutionary level.
Yeah. It's a great story.
They spread it by word of mouth. They did old guerrilla marketing.
Well, you said that this was over 25 years, correct?
Yeah. Started in the
gathered them.
70s and ended in 97. Right.
Yeah.
And they would do after talks. So they would do personal one-on-one talks with people.
They were salespeople. They were getting them, closing the deals with these people. It's like when lawyers are trying to get them to do their estate planning, they hold, dinners for people to come in and then they tell them about estate planning, and then they make them stay after to have one-on-ones, and that's when they close the deals. This is exactly the same thing. And you say they were doing guerrilla marketing, but that's the only way you could get the word out back then, because there was no internet. They had to go do these things. So they were working overtime to really gather their group. They're really refining their message.
Right.
And
but nowhere in the pamphlets, nowhere in the discussion was, hey, join a group that'll end in death.
Yeah, because that decision wasn't made until after Nettles died, and then until that photo was released. When the photo was released, that's when he made that decision.
Because their initial idea was humans can evolve beyond Earth. Yeah. Advanced beings are guiding humanity, and only a small group will be chosen to ascend. That was their selling point.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's forget the outcome again.
Right.
That message stands today. There are thousands and thousands of people that think that aliens are leading us.
Right.
That they're integrated within us here. They live on Earth. They're part of this.
Right.
It is not a far-fetched message today.
Yeah.
No. And just think, if you showed up at this thing and you started talking to them and you were like, hey, their stuff sounds interesting. You know what they'd hit you with? You were meant to find this.
Yes, of course.
You're one of the few who understand. Those were their lines that they fed people.
Well, and it starts very gradually. It doesn't go from, where we see, which is like the entry point to then the death. Like we said, it takes over 25 years for them to be building this community, building these mindsets. So people are completely brainwashed, but they did not start at that point. It just started, like you said, you were meant to find us. You were meant to be my friend, which I say that to my friends. I feel like we were meant to be friends.
And the thing is too, what they talked about was, this is your family now. Your actual family, that was your previous identity.
Yeah.
This is your new identity. And because you have this new identity in this new family, you need a new name.
Okay. So we understand how this all goes down with the recruiting, how he gets his people to get his cult going. Is there any other compelling information that would lead you to believe that there was a reason they bought in?
I think these people were just sad and lonely and wanted something. And when they initially started, this was the thing. And then 1 year later, one of your leader dies, and the next leader goes, hey, man, that was supposed to happen. I read it wrong. Bonnie read it wrong, and she can't attest to that.
Sure.
She can't say, oh, I was right. No, don't listen to him. She's dead.
There's definitely some key points throughout this journey that you saw the actual pivots happening.
The changes happened gradually. They weren't sudden, because even though she died in 85, 12 years later before they all died.
It was established after she died that really that's when the philosophy came out that our bodies are just vessels. So it's okay. We have to graduate from that. So we're going to have to die in order to get to the aliens, is what his change of message was. But the decision to take their lives, they were waiting for an event to happen. And that didn't happen until 12 years later.
Right.
When that photo was taken of the Hale-Bopp and they see the star behind it. So they were either waiting for an event that would make sense for them to take their lives, or I don't know what the or would be. I mean, they were just waiting for an event to happen where that would make sense for them to take their lives. I wonder if there were any space events that happened in those 12 years leading up to that they could have chosen to.
Right. And I think the other thing we have to consider in this too, with these people that were involved in this isn't about them being gullible. They weren't gullible.
No.
They're intelligent, functioning individuals.
Yeah.
Who became completely committed.
Yeah, committed. Well, if they're with them that long, at some point they would say, oh, this is nuts, man. I'm getting out of here. But no, they stayed.
Right.
So Applewhite must have been a very gregarious dude. He must have been very good at what he was doing, leading them. And keeping them
he would
invested.
right, and he would say things to them like, doubt, that shows the evidence that you're still human.
Sure.
You're not ready to ascend yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And your skepticism and all this is your lack of readiness.
Looking up your question about were there other space events, there were, but they weren't all visible in the same capacity as this one, like you said, with the photograph
Yeah.
and the way that it's
Yeah.
spread throughout the media. So I think they were probably waiting for that
Okay.
one big event.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Because I think we could start weighing in on this.
And here's another thing too that I found, that the early members were trained to see internal conflict in people. So he taught them how to pick
It's
them.
cult 101, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely that. It definitely is cult 101. I'm kind of disappointed that they used aliens as their main base of this. As the
Right.
driving force for all. It really does put a horrible thing. When did the Jim Jones thing happen? That was 70,
Like 72.
72.
Right? I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't
Yeah.
remember actually,
Right.
but it
Yeah.
was in the 70s. I know that.
Okay. Andrew, any last thing that you need to add before we weigh in?
No, I mean this guy was a master at what he did.
Yeah, and I think, but so to the point of this show, Mostly True Alien Stories, we're not weighing in on whether that this was a tragedy, because it was. We're weighing in on whether they this was an alien event. Like, they truly believe there were aliens happening, and it's okay if we all agree that they did believe that. And I think they were very
did.
committed.
They were
to
taught,
the point where
right?
they thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, they
So I'm not going to influence you anymore on this, but I will now hand it off to Lemon. It was great information, Andrew. That is painted a good picture of who these people were.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand it over to Lemon. Lemon, do you think that this is a mostly true alien story or not?
This is hard to go first. I don't think that this is a crazy theory. I got to be honest. I think that we all believe in, like, if you think of the belief of an afterlife, period, it's a crazy thought. It's a pretty far-fetched thought by itself. So, I don't find it to be crazy that people are coming up with other explanations to what our afterlife could be. And I don't think that it's crazy that it could be alien. I mean, we talk about aliens being interdimensional beings that could be right next to us. That, like you said, they could be on Earth with us right now. I don't think that it is a crazy explanation. Is it my belief? No. So it's hard for me to say yes in this moment, because it is kind of, honestly, to say yes feels like I am opening up the door to changing my belief system. And I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but that is hard for me to say yes to. So I'm going to say no for the sake of conversation, but
Okay.
I don't think it's a crazy thought.
Yeah, I
Good
think that's
answer,
a
though.
good
Good,
that's
yeah.
a good answer. That's actually
Yeah.
a solid answer. Okay. Lemon says it is not a mostly true alien story, with a few variations to it, but I'm now going to hand it over to you, Andrew. Is this a mostly true alien story or not?
Knowing the religious undertones of it, understanding the Bible as I understand the Bible and how I have studied it, and understanding religion, their interpretation was incorrect. But I have to fall to the facts of, did they believe this? Did they truly believe that there's an alien ship? Did they believe? Not if I believe. I have to take their story as what they believed to be true in this case. So I'm going to go with yes. This is a mostly true alien story. They
Great answer.
honestly believed that they were going to ascend to another level.
Yep.
They had separated themselves from anybody that had any reasoning. They followed a lunatic who had psychiatric issues that later met with another lunatic. And
Sure.
then to show his lunacy even more after she died, he changed the whole parameter of his religion.
He brings it home, man.
And he's
Yeah.
like, he's probably wanted to kill himself since the 70s, and being with her made it, that fact. And now he
Sure.
found it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a mostly true alien story, unfortunately.
Well done. All right. So Lemon says it is not a mostly true alien story based on principles. And Andrew says it is a mostly true alien story. Great explanation. Listen, it's my turn to weigh in. The spacecraft wasn't there. The comet was real. The spacecraft was a misidentified star. It was amplified by the internet. The question underneath this is are there aliens? And is there an opportunity for us to get there? So like you said, Andrew, I think it's mostly true in the way that matters most. True because the longing was real for them. This is true because the search was completely sincere for them. And true because this is where that search can go when it finds the wrong guy to guide them. And that could happen today very easily.
Oh, yeah.
So that is a mostly true alien story with those explanations. All right, Lemon says it is not a mostly true alien story. Andrew and I both say it is a true alien story. The Heaven's Gate website, by the way, is still live. I've mentioned that, heavensgate.com. It has never been taken down. 2 surviving members maintain it to this day. The farewell videos are on there. Applewhite's teachings are still on there. So if you want to understand what these people believed, it's all there, in their own words, preserved exactly as they left it. 39 people. They were looking for the same thing most of us are looking for. They just found the wrong door. Okay, if you have thoughts or a story you want us to investigate, drop it in the comments and make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mostly True Alien Stories. Until then, be kind to the aliens when they get here. Nice job, Andrew, Lemon.
Thanks,
See you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects.